Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tackle Productions. Today I'm Bancroft, being joined once again by James and, like always, Fluff.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, people?
And today we have a beautiful, beautiful game of the Great British Cook-Off for you all. Now James is preparing a delicious bake dish of shrooms. He's going to top off some salsa. It looks delicious so far. Well, I'm going to go for the all-time vegetarian platter and making my special King vegetables. And with that being said, there are buttons. If you want to click them, please do. They're there for a reason. But let's get into this deck profile. King Vegeta is, or was, a starter deck that a lot of people were interested in playing. We had a couple people play our locals. Well, actually, a lot of people, I think both Jake and Jason both started out playing this deck, actually. And it's a very unique deck that requires a field card to awaken. You can't awaken any other way. And it's Saiyans only. So there's a lot of limitations to it. And this matchup we're going for, and you're going to see the card in a second. That's why I wanted to, before I let James kind of go over his stuff. I was trying to go with the Heartfelt Plea route with this deck. And I realized as I played this, I don't like that at all. And I ended up changing this deck completely to go more defensive route, which I do enjoy a lot better. But nonetheless, the King Vegeta's effect and the field card effect say play a battle card of energy cost 2 or less, which most times are 15k or less, and you play that damn card on turn 1 like you always do. It's almost like a staple for James.
It is. And you can't... Dark Mass Saiyan is just... It's too good to not be a staple.
We have enough people who play Black at our shop, and like we've been seeing Black Mass Saiyan more and more frequently. Now, granted, there are ways to get rid of it and get past it. It's just hard to see.
It makes your opponent play suboptimally to get rid of the Dark Mask, and for 1 energy, you're making them waste their Zama's super combo and one of their swings, or whatever other removal effects that they have. It costs me 1 energy, and I'm getting more advantage out of it.
Yeah,
that card is too good not to include in a black deck.
And
if there's room in other decks, include it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, a lot of decks now like to play cards very quickly, very cheaply, or even free, and that's where those cards hit. You know, as long as they're 15k or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
as much as Dark Black Mass Saiyan has become relevant within our local meta, I'm surprised we don't see more Crisis Crusher being mained just to take care of the Black Mass Saiyan.
I think that's only because at most times we have 2 or 3 people who will play a black deck. Now, granted, I know last week, Fluff, you back-to-back had to play Shroom Salsa.
Yep.
This week, I had to do back-to-back Shroom Salsa games. So, like, it's happening. But Crisis Crusher is a card that really only works for key cards. If I'm correct, it's 1 or less, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't want to put that in my main deck, and we don't get a chance to play best of 3 at our shop. And I feel like that at this rate, it's definitely something you want to put in a sideboard, at least for our meta. But we don't play best of 3, unfortunately.
Yeah, we definitely play a best of 1 format, and it's just one of those cards that, like, because we're in a best of format, you have to think differently about it. And if your deck can't readily get rid of a 1-drop, but relies on playing 20k or less, or battle cards that are less than 20k, like Jimmy was playing Whis this last week, I believe.
Yeah.
And like he just has to have a way to deal with Crisis Crusher, otherwise Black Mass Saiyan just shuts him down.
Yeah. So, I want to point out real quick, King Vegeta, I don't like going second with King Vegeta because of what happened here. Turn 1, you establish a card on the board. My turn 1, is that I had to charge a multicolor energy. Now, granted, I could have charged the red. I didn't have to charge a multicolor, but I wanted to. The King Vegeta's effect is take a life, search top 5. And then you're able to swing at me twice. And then for me to even continue benefiting, I got to use the effect again to do more digging. Got the field card finally. And now I'm able to awaken. But per the field card's request, I can play a battle card to energy cost 2 or less when I play this card with skills negated. And here I'm deciding, like, what is the best
Do you want
play?
the field advantage or the hand advantage?
Yeah. Well, you draw 2 cards when you do it. So, like, I'm okay with doing this. And because I'm going to awaken, I go ahead and pitch that heartfelt play that I had earlier, if correct. Now, before building this deck, I looked into a couple other decks that people had King Vegeta builds of. And I saw a couple of alliance-based decks and a couple of arrival-based ones. And I'm thinking, okay, I can use the Goku and Piccolo, but I need a Son Gohan Youth to maximize this card's effect. So I looked into the Dragon Ball's card list, whatever, for all Son Gohan youths. And I'm like, okay, well, there's a 1-drop there, 5k, 1-drop there, 5k. This is a 2-drop, 15k, because King Vegeta, you had to play Saiyans. Well, Son Gohan's a Saiyan, so part of this card does have the Saiyan text. It doesn't say Saiyan only. The field card says play a red or green Saiyan. Well, it's a green card. It doesn't say anything about mono green or mono red or red green multicolor. So I felt like this was a great choice because once I pass turn, it has its skills back and now it's a blocker. Now, granted, you're not going to get its activate main, but I'm only using it to protect myself because I have to use so much early on just to get to this point. Like, I'm already at 4 life on my turn 2. I have 1 open energy, and I'm limited on what negates I can use. When I say red negate, what comes in your head?
I can't think of anything other than a Violent Rays.
Violent Ray is a good one, but there's a key one that likes to shut down your opponents by locking their hand. Fluff?
That locks the hand?
Topo.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it doesn't lock the hand. It just...
But I mean,
if
if they swing, they have to discard 2 cards. So, I mean, it can put you in a binding, especially if you're playing it. And that's a beautiful negate for red. My problem with that
I misunderstood the question.
Sorry, I could have worded it better. That's my bad.
Yeah, I was thinking 1 cost red negates because you had 1 open energy.
That's fair. Yeah, I get that. But Topo is like one of the best red negates, and I can't even use it.
Topo slows the game down or punishes the opponent's disposition towards aggro plays. So, they have to sacrifice hand advantage in order to push. Otherwise, it slows the game down to get you into earlier turns. It's just a fantastic tech choice for red. And you don't have access to it.
No. So I have to rely on After Images, Violent Rays. I think I play 3 Violent Rays in this deck. Is that all you got? Which I didn't put in this deck, but it's definitely a card that you could go for because you do pitch a card for it. But it does have the ability to neg 2 cards out, which is pretty nice. But
I personally think that you have to be running 4 Violent Rays in this. Because you lack Topo, you want every bit of value you can get out of it, even if it is not anything better than just a 1-drop negate against certain decks.
I agree. Now, I will say, that was dirty, man. Like, I didn't even chance to use that blocker.
Yeah, I love the 5-drop Shroom. Speaking of, since we're more than 30 seconds in, Fluffy, I will be done with Shroom and Salsa when I can move on to Nappa.
This weekend?
Well, maybe if we get our case.
I will be happy to stop playing against Shroom and Salsa.
Well, one of them.
Oh no, Sean's going to stop one way or the other. He's done.
So, I did have the Nappa Super Combo, so I was able to keep myself alive during that turn by using these the combo cards. And now I'm in a situation where I have 3 energy. I can play another field card to play a 2-drop. I can use the leader's effect to play a 2-drop, or can a card to give it double strike and swing at you. But I decided to swing first with the leader to focus on your unison. Just want to get out of the way. It's a good way for you to bring back skillless battle cards, for you to go ahead and use the activate mains on your 5-drops, which I don't like. Because I think the Salsa one plays a battle card, right, from the drop?
Yep. Yeah, Salsa's another good way once the unison's gone to recycle your skill list. But at this point, now that my board is established, I'm okay with losing the unison. If it was earlier, I probably would have created the life instead of losing him, but I'm pretty comfortable at this point.
Yeah. And truth be told, I feel like I probably should have swung into Shroom first without playing anything, just to see what how defensive you'd be, because now you don't have a blocker on board, and if you would just swing again, you could just scrap it. So here I'm going to activate the play effect. And I'm going to play the 2-drop Goku and Piccolo.
One of the key strategies to going long game against Shroom and Salsa is by keeping those bigger cards at bay. So you either have to deal with their effects by effect negation, or you just have to get the cards off the field.
Yeah.
You can't let Shroom and Salsa keep that advantage, because the cards don't seem very threatening, but like the chain attack poutine, the chain attack gravies, and then is it chain attack Salsa, or the 5-drop Salsa, 5-drop Shroom, generate a ton of advantage and control and pressure if they're allowed to stick around and continuously resolve their effects turn after turn.
And I will say, speaking of cards with good effects, you completely forgot to do the Toa effect.
Yep. So a couple turns back, I brought out the Toa and the Gravy using the Mecha Gaboro, the 3-drop. And I don't know why, but once they hit the field, I was more happy about having my Gravy, and I forgot about Toa's Beep 5.
Yeah.
I do remember here.
Yeah,
because she gets it when she swings as well. But
you had passed your turn, and you're like, "Oh, I forgot to do this." I'm like, "Yeah, you did."
Yep.
You just killed my blocker. Leave me alone.
Forgetting to resolve those small effects may not seem like a lot, but it can have horrible consequences over the course of a game. Like, it can completely be the difference between winning and losing, and it's not guaranteed. You know, you may still be fine even after that, but there are definitively situations where you could lose a game because you forgot to search top 5 or get a draw or something like that. Remembering your effects is so absolutely critical.
Yeah, a +1 is a +1, and you know that play should have been a +2 for me. You know, I do have to pitch the Mecha Gaboro, but I do get 2 of my 2-drop blacks out, which by itself is still a positive, but going from a +1 to a +2 is so much better.
Yeah, it's like
we're humans. We forget things.
Yeah.
So now
But, back to what you were saying about the 5-drops. You know, that's why they're so good. You know, you're getting a +1 advantage on each swing, and it just if your opponent can't get rid of them, then it keeps building up.
Yeah.
Another Toa. So during your leader swing, I felt comfortable with comboing Raditz, because now if you were to swing again, I can use the field cards activate battle to combo with it, which is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. It is pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah, no. I mean, the intent was nice. Let's put it that way. So earlier I mentioned one drop battle cards being a staple for you. This next card is also a staple, and fuck you. Like, it destroyed my entire board. Unexpected Turn is such a great card. Not only is the card being played gets warped, if I'm correct, warped, but
Yeah.
every 2 or less battle cards on your field also go. And I was just like, hang on. I know I've read this card like 10 times by now, but let me just read it again. And
Yeah, the card being played plays to the drop area, but
that's what it's okay.
being able to warp all of the weenies, especially depending on the map up, is such a huge momentum swing.
Well,
And
so
for one energy,
what I had going on
so good.
would have been a double strike Gogeta, a Goku Pickle when I swung with a 30. Is it 30k? Are they naturally 20?
I think they're 15.
So it would have been a 30k crit that I draw 2 off of because I'll be tapping the Son Gohan for. I had 2 super combos to go off there. Like, I was going to use this to get rid of your, at least focus on your Shroom, get rid of him first because I don't like you warping my cards. Then focus double strike onto lead. Hopefully you will just use your blocker to block. And I'm like, cool, get it out of the way. And still had open energy left over to do whatever I needed to do for this rest of this turn. And one card, one energy. Goodbye.
I've been playing TCGs with James for a long time, and one of the things that James does extraordinarily well is revisiting old sets for text that people forgot about or haven't been relevant for a while. And like, we do it to a degree. Like, we all have a deck that we kind of revisit. Like, you've got Prison and Lineage. I've got like Topo and Jiren, and then Jimmy's got like Baby and Baby.
But don't forget about Baby.
Right. I mean, definitely can't forget about Baby. But, you know, James will like go back and just like research old sets and just like, oh, this seems good right now. And is really good at re-innovating those texts. Like, a lot of people even forgot Unexpected Turn was a card.
Yeah.
And then he's caught. I've watched him catch so many people with it.
I've never been hit so hard by it until this game. Because, like, in the past, you put against me, and I've had, like, maybe one card. Like, oh, you hit that one card, okay. Because I had, like, 3 drops where I had barriers. But that was my entire board. And that's what hurts so much more.
Yeah, it has a place in any matchup, but there are some matchups where it just completely flips it on its table, flips the table. And having a negate for one energy, I think, is worth the slots that it has to take for those occasional matchups where it'll just wreck somebody.
Yeah.
You know, Banger, I don't know why we didn't think about it, but we were talking about engines for King Piccolo. Why did we forget about Universe 6? Like the old red-green Universe 6, like spammy aggro archetype?
Well, what colors were those again? Yellow, right?
Red and green?
Wait. Universe 6, red, green? Oh! The original.
Yeah. The red stuff weren't technically... the green stuff weren't
They're
technically
considered
Universe
aliens.
6.
No.
But they were aliens.
But
But
they
they still
considered
count as
Saiyans?
Saiyans.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a bad approach. I didn't think about that one. And I looked back at the... so we have the new Vegeta lineage stuff coming out soon. Excuse me. And there's some good stuff there that could definitely be added to this. Oh, let me put this real quick. I Violent Raid to stop you from swinging with your 80-20k battle cards. And I'm like, I'm fine. I'll take the life for it. And it just so happened to have been the Secret Rare. And it's like, that's fitting for my luck so far this match. I mean...
Yeah.
But we have Vegeta's lineage stuff coming out, and me and Fluffy we were looking at it yesterday, and it really sucks that the 3-drop Vegeta plays a 6-drop red-green Vegeta, which is a double strike card. I can't remember what its battle power is, but it's activate.
It's like 25,000 for a 6-drop.
Yeah, a double strike 6-drop that has a beautiful activate main, I think it is, but it has to have a green leader. And that really hurts. And I was like, oh man, well, I can't really benefit truly from this engine with this leader. And Grant, we know it that was more directed towards, obviously, Raditz and trying to reviving that a little bit. Or I guess any green Saiyan card.
Yeah.
But yeah, U6, that's not a bad... Dark used to play that a lot, and that could be really fun. The problem, I felt like U6 wanted to go off really big on turn 2.
Wanted to try, yeah.
But if you could hold off, go, either go off on turn 2 and try, and be okay with surviving your opponent's next turn, sure. Because keep in mind, the only way to awaken this leader is using the field card.
And you don't restand your energy to do that, right?
It's a hybrid.
That's lame.
So 1 energy, 1 draw. But when you play the field card, you play a battle card 15 or less. Its skills are negated though, and that's why I changed this deck up. So I lost here, and like I said early on, I was so focused on like, how do I get Heartfelt Plea to go off? How can I do this? What can I do here? What can I do this? And I got to the point I'm like, I can't rely on this. I have to awaken now to get myself something going. So because I could have play the field card, drop the battle card, and then turn around and be like, well, I'm tapped out. If he has a good hand, he could finish me off here because I would have to force myself to awaken. And so after my second game, I lost against Shroom Salsa on my second game as well, and I'm like, okay, this is not the approach to the deck. I made the deck more arrival base, and I put in the 20k Gohan Adolescents that were skillless already, and a couple of the Nimbus Master cards. So the idea now is to play the field card. If I could drop the 2-drop skillless, great. It has no skills. It's a 20k beater. It gets past Black Mass Saiyan. Swing that, use Leader's Effect to pop it, draw a card, give my leader double strike plus 5k, swing of that. During my opponent's turn, combo Nimbus Master to bring that back from my drop back to the field and just repeat that process. And I replayed my second matchup again and completely won that match. And me and James replayed that game as well. James, you managed to get it, but like talking about it, like
I definitely had to work a lot harder. I think it was neck and neck the way through. I just barely got through it.
We've talked
definitely much better changes to it.
We've talked before about, in set 8 we got Heartfelt Plea, and Heartfelt Plea is a fantastic card. I mean, it plays for free. It's got offering. It's a big body triple strike that can just catch your opponent out of nowhere and can really turn the tide in your game. But it's got a pretty odd play requirement. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people will end up playing that card at incredibly inopportune times.
Yeah.
Or they will hold themselves off from awakening and being able to protect themselves, and will actually take more damage or make worse plays just trying to make sure that they can play Heartfelt Plea.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, I feel like that your assertion to like come off that, if you play a deck that naturally puts you in that position, like the new Dark Brawly stuff naturally can play him out and really take advantage of what he's trying to do. But King Vegeta just doesn't seem like he fits that niche.
I think I took Dark Brawlies out as well. And I think they could potentially stay, because if you later down the game, like the road, like you free play the 2-drop and then immediately evolve it into the 7-drop, or is it 7 or 9, whatever.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's big. I think he's 7.
And as long as your opponent's life is where it needs to be, its effect could go off, which is great. But I just felt like I was trying to rely on more offensive plays when I'm tapping out to play a field card practically to free play cards, I'm like, I just need to focus on more defensive. And it just felt better that way.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I will be having my profile for King Vegeta come up later this week. Look forward to that. I hope you all enjoy that as well. And if you got a list for King Vegeta, let us see it. I'm really curious what people are doing with this deck. Yeah, just put in the links down below, or put in the comments down below. With that being said, let's go into our round of last words. James, do you have any?
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. A shroom a day keeps reality at bay.
Did you say Napa? I just want to make
I
sure.
said apple.
It sounded like you said a Napa a day will keep the doctor away, and I'm like, what?
I mean, I kind of like that one better, actually. So
Yeah.
let's just say that I did that.
Fair enough. Fluff, would you lead us out?
Of course. I got nothing to say. Better luck next time, buddy. Read your cards, know your plays, and like always, fluff out.